the 2025 Northwest Arkansas Weaver Awards Celebration and Awards Ceremony. So, Weaving NWA and We, the Social Fabric team, is really thrilled to be here tonight. And as we begin, I'm just going to start with talking a little bit about the team. So my name is Kristen Feldman. If we haven't met already, I lead the local community partnerships programs with Lead the Social Fabric Project. We are based in Washington, D.C., but we have programs in North Carolina, in Baltimore, here in Northwest Arkansas, and next year we're expanding to 25 new cities. So in 25, we're adding 25 a year for the next 3 years. So we are really about to launch, and we are so grateful for you all for being here tonight and being a part of our startup years. I'd also like to recognize Sean Dowd, our Senior Associate for Community Engagement. Part of the Northwest Arkansas team, we have April Kennedy, our Community Associate. She's our community liaison, who also works with our Spanish-speaking population here in DC. So, as we begin tonight, I wanted to start with a question, and just keep the answer as you're thinking about it in the back of your mind, as we consider in those brief moments that we have together the concept of trust and of social fabric. If I ask you, what is trust? What would your answer be? Would your definition be a feeling? Would your definition of trust be more like an outcome of a relationship or an event? Or would your answer be more dynamic, like a barometer that is gauging the weather, the time, the day, or even the place? So generally, it's accepted by the people that think about things that social trust is a belief in the honesty and integrity and reliability of others. So it's a faith in others. And faith is another really interesting word because faith is a gut feeling. It's a belief that doesn't actually require proof. So yes, trust is a feeling, trust is dynamic, and it relies on people's experience of trust, and that is going to be different for everyone. What is consistently true is that trust is an essential component in the way that we live our daily lives. It's part of how we interact with the world, and people across the U.S. feel that our experiences with trust are changing really rapidly right now. So, data from the Pew Charitable Trust states that 64% of Americans believe that trust in each other is actually shrinking right now, and 70% believe that if we have low trust in each other, then it's harder to solve collective challenges. Some 58% of adults are not confident that others can hold civil conversations with people who have different views from themselves. And the Weavers in the room tonight are challenging this trend every day. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about Weave, briefly, just so that we're all familiar with the project itself. Weave is a project, it's not an NGO. It's a project that was started in 2018 as a collaboration between David Brooks, the writer David Brooks, and the Aspen Institute, where we are housed. Weave was created from a really deep desire to do more than write or talk incessantly about the statistics that I just tossed out, or any of the other social commentary that seems to go into the paper and then get tossed out by the end of the day, or scrolled past, as it were. The founders wanted to create a project that was more like a movement, that really only focused on trust and the trust builders in the society, in our society. Today, I lead the community partnership programs, and I'm really privileged to work on the Weave Your Award programs in three communities right now, and moving into 75 new communities within the next next few years. So as of today, we have 150 Weaver awardees, but by next year, there'll be 650. And in the end of the next few years, we have over 3,000. So the network that all of you are graduating into today will be rapidly expanding over the next few years. So our vision is really simple. We endeavor to connect Weavers, to lift Weavers up across the community, and to inspire a nation of Weavers. We want people to re-find not our common ground, but something actually way more basic than that, which is our common humanity. And we want people to see the basic goodness and reliability of each other. We want people to rebuild that trust. And if we solve for that root problem, if we learn how to trust each other again, we can collectively find solutions. Simply, we won't be able to find common ground if we can't see each other's humanity first. So, what do? We know the first rule of Weavers is that they are just really busy people. Anybody who crosses this stage today is going in lots of different directions. But we endeavor to bring people together to ensure that the communities of Weavers that don't usually travel in the same circles or engage in the same type of weaving work are now networked together. And we also create opportunities for people in communities to have one-on-one conversations, those deep conversations that help people find that common humanity, and to sit together and to consider shared challenges or aspirations for their community. And we also do this throughout Northwest Arkansas in a program that we're calling Coffee and Conversations. We've had 15 of those this year so far, and we have another 15 coming up before the end of the year. So watch for April. She'll be absolutely ping-ponging around Northwest Arkansas. And we also connect people with resources. During Weave's listening tour, we listened to Weavers tell us about their biggest needs, and those needs went far beyond the financials. Weavers knew what the needs of their communities were, and they also knew how to fundraise. But what they needed was educational and informational resources to help them create deeper impact and do it in a more durable manner. And so those are some of the things that we endeavor to do in our Learning Center online. The next thing that we really aspire to do is to elevate and lift up Weavers. Just like tonight, in celebrations like this and using the Aspen networks and platforms, we hope to tell those stories. And we have a big storytelling team. Weave considers our communication efforts to be really our fuel for weaving. And as we seek to uplift and learn the stories of the Weavers, we're also seeking to spark and ignite new Weavers. So this room is proof of that tonight. But loneliness and isolation are an epidemic that has really impacted all of us. And if you're an aspiring Weaver, you know that you aren't an army of one. But you also need to know that there are others out there just like you, and you can access them through the Weave Project and the connections that we have. We are also launching a brand new social connections site. We have a website already with a really extensive, thousands of Weavers are connected together, but we're hoping to make that even better. So the last thing that we hope to do is to inspire new Weavers. I wasn't talking about literal generations before, I'm talking about new waves of Weavers, but we know that today's youth have some of the lowest levels of trust recorded in history, and we also know that volunteerism across the United States is been declining rapidly, decade over decade. So turning that tide has never been as critical as it is now. And it's so important for us to recognize the people that are acting in ways that are mutual, inclusive, relational, and local. So it's an essential part of hyper-local change. And of course, our Weavers tonight embody that change. So the Weaver Award Program was designed with a by the people, for the people perspective. Just to tell you a little bit about the application that all of our awardees put together tonight and those people who applied. The application package consisted of an application and a community recommendation. So that recommendation was someone who could provide an example of the Weavers Weaving work and how that applicant puts relationships first in their work. We had over 400 recommendations and applications in the system, and we had about 100 complete application packages. And that was who the 20 people that you will meet tonight were selected from. The applications were read by a group of 15 members of the Northwest Arkansas community, and those people were nominated by some of our liaisons and others in the region as people who were devoted to the community and who are also weaving themselves. So it takes one to know one. And these people formed our local advisory group, call it the LAG. And they were tasked with reading and scoring both rounds of applications. Their primary task was to review the programs and scrutinize how each person or group's project not only fulfilled an expressed community need, but also created new connections and built trust. So simply put, we were searching for projects where relationships were not a byproduct of the project itself, they were actually the intentional product of the project. So I'd like to recognize, in the next slide, our local advisors, many of whom are here tonight, but